I hate knowing that my daughter was being abused and people were making her live with dumbasses left and right. I hate that my daughter had to be around her father who was a piece of shit and slept around with so many women. I'm pretty sure she saw women coming into the house left and right. I have a sense that's what happened. There was one time that after my sister passed away, there was one time that I temporarily lived with my ex and the girlfriend that he was with at the time. And yeah, I noticed that there was like bullshit going on. Like one time I had left and I came back to the house that we were staying at, and I noticed that my daughter was like laying on the couch alone, and the rest of the family was like in the bedroom asleep, and that hurt my feelings. And I also noticed like when Clairah had a birthday at the house, uh, my ex's ex was like throwing a tantrum because I wanted her to have a good birthday to the best that I could, do for her. And but anyways, yeah, it really hurts me that after I had Clairah, like, okay, when I had Clairah in the hospital, it was infuriating because my ex was more in tune to being on his phone than, comforting me and stuff and whatnot. And also, my ex and my mom weren't getting along when I was having Clairah. And also, I remember after I had Clairah, my ex was being distant, and he was like, he wasn't being loving or like caring or anything. And there was one night, he actually took Claire away from me and he drove off, and he didn't come back till the next day. And I kept calling him, and I was like so fucking stressed out. And I remember like I wanted to still have a relationship with him. I did break up with him, but the thing is I still want to be with him. It's just I kept feeling like he was cheating on me, and yeah, he was. And anyways, yeah, like there were moments where when I had Claire with me, like I had to hear him having conversations in another room telling women that he loved them. There was one time when I was over there at his house, or duplex, sorry. And yeah, Amanda lived next door. Weird, huh? But anyways, yeah, there was one time I had Claire inside the duplex with me, and I walked outside and my ex was sitting in his vehicle and he was talking to somebody, and I was getting mad. It's like, dude, like, you're hurting me. Like, I I never got diagnosed with it, but from what I read online, I was like, dude, I seriously was going through postpartum depression. I mean, there was one day I couldn't even get out of the fucking bed. I was like in the bed all day, and he was busy just playing video games with Clara in a car seat next to him on the couch. But anyways, yeah, like, anyway, yeah, the car situation, like, I was banging on the window, like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're stressing me out. You're making me feel depressed and everything. And he actually, like, I think he was still on the phone, but he got out of the car and he actually pushed me down on the ground. And yeah, there was one time he locked me out of the house and I didn't have pants on or underwear. I just had a shirt on and we were drinking. But anyways, yeah, like, he ended up leaving me when after Claire was born, and he actually told me he was getting a plane ride up to Minnesota to go be with a woman that he aka fell in love with. And that hurt me so bad. And he left me with like some bills that were put in my name. He didn't and I didn't have any money. He didn't help me pay them off. I had to pay it off over time, and it fucked up my credit. And then but yeah, so I was pretty much like raising Clara on my own for the first 2 years of her life. And my dad like kind of brought the ideation of going after him for child support, and I did. And I'm getting a sense that he realized something wasn't right with that, like me going after him for child support. And anyways, yeah, that's around the time that I got a job at Harker Heights with a yawn at the beer barn. And Yeah, like, I'm sorry, but anyways, it's like I had Clairah, and then all of a sudden, Ayana passed away, and then it's like I was just getting like punished left and right, and eventually, because everyone wanted me to go to fucking hospitals all the time and be put in psychiatric units and everything, and yeah, there was just one point I ended up going to. Oh yeah, and by the way, yeah, well, I had Clairah. She contracted MRSA. That's what they said at the Children's Hospital in Temple. And guess what? When I was at the hospital with her the next day, I go to leave, and CPS got involved in my situation, and thankfully they didn't do anything at that time. And yeah, like, I put Ayana as my contact, and she put in a good word for me, and like, she was trying to be funny about the situation, but I'll talk about that later. But anyways, and they were like, yeah, there's nothing wrong here. And the CPS worker did tell me that someone was claiming that I lived in a filthy house, and there was dirty animals everywhere, and that hurt my feelings like really bad, and I felt embarrassed. But so anyways, where was I? What was it? Oh yeah. After Ayana passed away, like, yeah, they kept wanting me to go to hospitals, and I had to stay in hospitals left and right. And there was just one moment I was at Metroplex, and there was something that kept like playing in my head that my ex had said. And he said that because after Claire, it was like either before or after she was born, he made the comment, she's going to be sexy when she gets older. And that made me feel uncomfortable. I was like, is that normal? I felt panicky. And while I was at that hospital, it just kept playing in my head. And I was just like, dude, I have to say something. Because I was going through like a kind of like a psychotic phase, going through psychosis. And I admitted to a worker at the hospital that my ex had said that. And also said, when we had a community meeting, that's what they called it, I admitted that I felt like my sister was murdered. And the only situation they wanted to, of course, get involved in is me, saying that's what my ex said. And I was made to believe that they didn't tell him anything. And for, like, after, because, yeah, CPS got involved, and that's when Claire was taken away from me. And I had to keep having CPS visits, and I was made to say, like, bizarre shit. And some of the stuff I was saying was actually true. And then, it's like, yeah, she was taken away from me. She had to live with my ex. And I thought I was, like, maybe doing the right thing, because I was made to believe I was a schizophrenic that couldn't handle myself. And anyways, it's like I'm going through Claire being taken away from me and whatnot. And then there was a point where my mom made me live with someone named Jamie, who I dated Jamie's son at one point. And yeah, living with Jamie, yeah, that was a shitty situation. There was no air conditioning. It seemed like I was the only one, like, making food. They got mad at me for eating food that was in the refrigerator for a long ass time. Her mom was rude as fuck. She was racist, and she actually did steal from me, because there was some moments I had like some food, and I was like excited to like eat it, at certain points, and I kept it by my chair that I had to sleep in. And all of a sudden I noticed, like, yeah, my food was missing. I was getting so fucking mad. I kept feeling like it was her mom, and it was. And, then they're calling 911 on me to go to hospitals and shit. And it was just a nonstop bullshit, dude. And, oh my god, I felt like they were doing drugs in a fucking shed nearby. But yeah, I'm just gonna say, I don't want to get off track, but I will say living with Jamie, yeah, she kicked me out. And her and her boyfriend, wherever the fuck he was, he looked like a crazy ass, but Yeah, like they yelled at me because I bled on a towel and I didn't wash it right away. And she actually was like pretty much making fun of me in front of him, and he yelled at me, and then I started laughing because I was uncomfortable, and then he told me I had to get out. So yeah, I was sitting on a fucking porch in the middle of the summer in Lampasas, uh, trying to figure out what to do. And if I had to use the bathroom, I seriously had to walk all the way to the fucking park to use a bathroom. And that lasted for 2 days. And then my mom's telling me she was going to take me to a homeless shelter. And she actually drove all the way to Copper's Cove and was like taunting me, like making me feel like I was going to be left at a homeless shelter. But then she took me back home to her house on 1715. But anyways, yeah, like I had to deal with Claire not being with me anymore, and my ex was like being annoying about me seeing her, and the court order, like, dude, I don't even want to get into that. He told me I didn't even have to show up, and yeah, actually I should have, and I think my mom knew that, but she didn't help me out in the situation. I had no one advocating for me, but I had nobody advocating for me. But yeah, and then it got like the situation with Claire not being with me got worse and worse because they kept moving further away and further away and further away. It's like first they were in Copper's Cove, then they went to Belton, then they went to Temple, and then all of a sudden I'm being told out of nowhere without any like not being told beforehand, like on pretty much the last day. Well, the day before the last day that I saw Clairah, my mom took her to her house in Temple, and my mom comes back and she's like fake crying and telling me that there was moving boxes everywhere in the house and they were going to be moving to Minnesota. And I just sat there and I'm like, I don't even know how to handle this shit. And yeah, they ended up moving to Minnesota like right away. And from then on, it's like, yeah, then all of a sudden I'm being told, oh, you can only see her during the summers, and it didn't even stipulate that in the freaking court order. Like, dude, that court order is like full of nonsense. They didn't even like, there was one part they actually said my name was Chelsea Copeland, and I'm like, dude, I never married his ass. And I get a sense that he was still married, which is weird, because he was like dating all these fucking women. Dude, he was around so many women when I was with him, and I can only imagine how many more women he was around when I wasn't around. He was dating women left and right, sleeping around, and some of the women that I had to face, they were so fucking petty, annoying, ignorant, drama-filled, stupid. But anyways, and they like to start shit with me and hurt my feelings, and yeah, like I said, start drama with me. But so yeah, so the years are progressing, and I'm able to see Clairah like during the summers, but then all of a sudden last year, I didn't get to see her at all, man. And it seemed like everyone was coming with all these excuses on why I couldn't see her. You don't have a place that you're living at. Well, you were going through a schizophrenic phase. Well, you don't have a lot of money. And it's like, why the fuck is everyone acting stupid about when it comes to my daughter? And yeah, like this year, I was supposed to see her, and I was told, what was it, last week or whenever, that, like, my mom was acting like she didn't know how to communicate with Derek, and like she was trying to act like she's like a defenseless woman that doesn't know how to handle men that have anger problems, and pretty much like, Chelsea, I don't know what to do, like he wants to go back to Minnesota, I'm sorry, I it's just out of my hands. And it's like, how? You all talk to each other, you all know what you're doing. So the whole week that she was here, I get a sense she's still in San Antonio. But the whole week that she was here, she only got to hang out with my mom and my little sister, and yeah. And I never got to see her. I was able to talk to her once on the phone. One time. So far. And think about it. If I have not seen my daughter since October of, because we were doing video calls in the past at my mom's house. If I haven't seen my daughter since October of 2024, that's a long ass time, man. Not being around my daughter, not talking to her, seeing her, nothing. And it's like, I just felt like all these idiots that were in charge of, like, her and I were not, like, fixing anything. They're just making shit worse. And I know my daughter was probably really depressed living with him. I'm pretty sure she was abused. I'm pretty sure the women that he was around were treating her like shit. Because if I, like, especially with how I was being treated, I could only imagine how she was being treated. And I get a sense that her, dumbass and Angelina had a day where they just, like, abused her hardcore. Because that was brought to my attention. And, dude, I'm so fucking mad. And her, like, going through periods where she had lice really bad. I'm getting a sense they were purposely making her, like, become overweight. I'm pretty sure she was treated like the redheaded stepchild in the family. I'm pretty sure she was made to be the housemaid and everything. And it just pisses me off. Like, they could have, like, corrupted her and made her, like, depressed forever. And I'm learning that I think she's with my little sister and my nieces and nephew, which is Jenna, Maxwell, Marceline, and, you know, Clairah, Kenya. I think they're all together, which makes me feel better. Because I was also getting a sense that, you know, when my daughter was probably alone with my mom probably spanked her. My mom was probably mean to her. I'm pretty sure. And then when she was alone with Amanda, my ex-best friend, I'm pretty sure she was Amanda was shitty to her too. And then it was also brought to my attention my dumbass brother probably kicked my daughter in the back, and that's the reason why her back looked like it had a bluish, like, bruise kind of color. Because I remember I saw that when she was younger, and I was asking questions. I'm like, why is that showing up on her? And I was looking it up, and they were proclaiming that when you have a mixed child, sometimes they get, like, these like for instance, I heard about raspberry marks, and I'm like, what the fuck? How come I didn't have that, but Ayana did? And then, which is, like, on your, like, between your eyebrows and on your forehead, kind of. And then, but yeah, like, I was reading, like, supposedly the big bruise looking thing that was on her back was due to her being of a mixed race. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess. But yeah, like, I just want my daughter to know that I love her. I miss her like crazy. We will see each other again, and yes, she's gonna live with me permanently, which makes me elated. And I hate that I had to have a child with a fucking dumbass loser. And I hate that she had to spend some of her childhood with that idiot. I'm pretty sure she's gonna tell me what she went through, but I do recall having conversations with her, and I did tell her that, you know, in the past, that if anything was going on, she could open up to me. And I have a feeling she probably did want to open up to me. She kind of, like, hinted at some things, but she didn't tell me, like, anything, like, super detrimental. But now I know, yeah, there's really bad situations she went through. And more than likely, and she did. And then, yeah, like, I'm learning that I'm supposed to, so Ayana's not my twin, but I still consider her, like, she was a sister to me. I don't care. And then, I mean, she pretty much was. And then, but anyways, I learned that how I operate, I actually do produce twins. So pretty much, I'm guessing when I got pregnant with Clairah, and by the way, dude, when I was with Derek, we never used protection. I know that's inappropriate, but it's kind of crazy that we were together for like 3 years, and then in the 3rd year, that's when I got pregnant. I mean, yeah, that's something ain't right with that. But when I got pregnant, were there moments where I kind of felt like I was like feeling like shit and everything? I was like throwing up all the time and everything. Yeah. And I'm guessing that Clairah, like, I did have twins, but Clara's sister kind of like passed away in me and kind of disintegrated. And I guess that's the same situation that happened with Mallory. But the Mallory situation was even worse. But yeah. So yeah, that's not pretty sad. It is sad. And also, every time because sometimes Derek would go up to Minnesota while I was pregnant, leave me alone in the duplex. It was very depressing. Anyways, yeah, there was one specific time I do recall that he came back from Minnesota and he wanted to make love to me. And let's just say, yeah, dude, I was like, what the fuck? I'm not going to go into detail. And then there was another time he acted like he was Mr. Deer Hunter, badass Republican, Marine, whatever. 4 Purple Heart motherfucker. But he asked my dad if he could hunt on my mom's property in Lampasas for deer. And so he was sitting in the deer stand. And yeah, dude, like I don't know, it was weird. He would sit in that fucking deer stand like all day. And he made it seem like he wasn't like doing anything. He just had a gun and then his phone in a deer stand. And he would sit in that thing all fucking day. But anyways, he wanted me to go out there and sit in there with him. And of course, what do you know? He wanted to do it in there. Or make love. And then I noticed that after we did it, something wasn't right during that time. Let's just say I was like, why do I feel like I smell something strange? I'll put it that way. Oh, God. So, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, like I said, I love my daughter, and I hate that she endured so many. And I also hate that every picture, cause they wouldn't, like, update me on her or anything. Dude, my ex was not talking to me all of last year or any of this year. That was pissing me the fuck off. It's like, you want me to pay child support, but yet you're not communicating with me. You're not telling me anything. You're not letting me talk to my daughter, see her, nothing. And my mom's acting like that's normal. Angelina's acting like that's normal. Everyone's, acting like I have to change. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing anything wrong. But, what was I going to say? I don't even remember, man. But I'm going to, let me think if there's anything I have to say before I end this video, because I don't know how long it's going to take to upload this fucking video, because YouTube is annoying. They're doing a little bit better on the shorts, but yeah, when it comes to videos, man, it's not as bad as Facebook, but it's still pretty annoying, because it shouldn't take, like, 3 hours to upload, because it's at 23 minutes right now. But, yeah, anyways, I'm just going to say, and also, yeah, I do want to add that I realized that Anthony Martin, he isn't my biological dad, but he was different too. It makes me sad. I was sad when he passed away, but honestly, he was not a perfect father at all. And, yeah, the last time I had Claire around him, I went outside to go check on our goats or whatever, and I left Claire with him. And before I left, like, he was like holding my daughter, and he was like making a weird gesture, and he was like going boobies while he was sitting by my daughter, and I didn't know how to feel about that. Cause yeah, dude, I grew up being made to believe that people like jokes like that. It's not even a joke, dude. Or like they acted weird, or they did weird mannerisms, did weird stuff, and I was just and they would, say weird things. I was made to believe that that's just normal. That's normal. Now I know, nope. A lot of that shit I was around was not normal at all. Pretty much like 98% of my life was not normal, okay? But anyways, okay, I'm gonna go. I love you, Clairah. I know this isn't appropriate for children, but I love you, Clairah. I'll see you hopefully soon. And hopefully they stop making me pay child support. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Minnesota and Texas.